In a pretty shocking move, WWE has refused to re-sign a pretty big name, and they have called out the company after everything that has gone down. We're going to tell you who this talent is, what they had to say that has everyone talking, and what it could mean for other talent down the line. We're also going to have a pretty major update on a former AEW World Champion who is set to make their return pretty soon? Question mark. We'll talk about it. Tony Khan had an update. So much to talk about, so much to get into. I'm Omer Q for Real Take Wrestling. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Let's first talk about the talent who had quite a bit to say about their negotiations, question mark, with WWE. Well, Dominic Dijakovic, a.k.a. Dijak, took to Twitter, released a letter actually about his time in WWE coming to an end. Here is the full transcript of this letter that he released. It says, "Here's the truth. WWE never negotiated with me. We attempted to negotiate and they stonewalled us. They never made a single offer. Then they informed me they would not renew my contract at the 11th hour. 2 months ago, I was in one of the best matches in NXT history and a top match of WrestleMania weekend. On that day, a top executive in WWE, told me I was, quote, crushing it, unquote. I was slated to feud for the NXT title, but I got called up to Raw instead. I consistently outperformed everyone's expectations, especially throughout 2023 and early 2024. Never complained about anything or was difficult to work with. I tirelessly pitched ideas to anyone who would listen. As recently as the day before I was notified, I never once missed a booking. I was injured one time in 7 years for 3 months. I'm thankful, disappointed, but also excited. This has lit a fire under me to relentlessly prove myself to the world. All I ever wanted was a fair shot, and now I have the opportunity to go out and take it." That's enough talk. Now it's time to do or die, Jack. Love that. My last day under WWE contract is June 28th, 2024. Booking/interviews. There's the email. Get ready to feast your freaking eyes, Dijak. Okay, a lot to get into there. Obviously, Dominic Dijakovic, aka Dijak, one of WWE's most popular internet wrestlers, if we're being honest. And I don't mean, internet darlings as in he was on Ring of Honor doing all this stuff, although he was great on the indies. This is someone who has built up a reputation online being one of the biggest and funniest wrestling trolls imaginable. He is, if you ask me, he's probably one of, if not the best follow on Twitter of anyone in professional wrestling. But all that to the side, he's also a hell of a wrestler. He's a hell of a talent, and he's a hell of a character. What he has done over the last year, as he said in this letter that he wrote to his fans, has been nothing short of awesome. Like, he came out there, cut promos, showed charisma that people did not really believe translated from Twitter to the stage of TV. So to have him go out there and be performing at the level that he was in NXT, to be called up to WWE and then basically do nothing and be asked to do nothing, and his contract status has been something we've been talking about for a while. Is he going to resign? Is he going to be one of these people who eventually jump ship? What's going on with Dijak? And it looks like WWE did not reach out. And look, I think the immediate thing people are going to point to is like, well, they re-signed all these other people: Seth Rollins, Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio, So conventional wisdom would tell you that, well, all these big contracts got re-upped. Someone was going to be let go. And I do think that played a part into it. And I believe that we're going to see others have their contracts likely expire. And there are a few deals that are coming up over the next few weeks even that I could see kind of, just, hey, thank you so much, but contract is ended. We're done. maybe we'll see you down the road. And I think there is going to be a lot of that, especially as WWE is having, this inflection of talent, especially in NXT, through their partnership with TNA, especially as WWE begins to renew the NIL deals that they have with several collegiate athletes. You are seeing a pipeline of talent come in that is cheaper, that is, in their eyes, are doing a similar function as some other talent, although that doesn't mean that certain people are more talented or not than, others, but they serve the same premise. For WWE, they are trying to fill roles on a television show. That is what they are trying to do. And for them, there are different ways to do that. Doesn't mean everyone needs to be a good wrestler. Doesn't mean everyone needs to be, a top-level guy. And you can have only so many people. We've seen it in AEW, we've seen it in WWE. You can only have so many people on your roster and until it gets bloated and, people are just gonna not be used, and then they're going to complain about that. So I think this is a byproduct of those two things. All that being said, I do think WWE are losing out on a hell of an athlete, a hell of a talent, and a hell of a promo who has the potential to be a hell of a character on main roster television. I am not saying that Dijak is going to go out there and win the WWE Championship tomorrow, but he is someone who I think can easily at least fit into your mid-card and be a great mid-card guy. If that, he has every tool it takes to be a star on your show every single week, because he's great in the ring and he's funny. He's legitimately funny. And that is why I believe that moving forward, when it comes to Dijak, at least, he's going to have all the opportunities in the world. Personally, I would love to see him go to New Japan or Pro Wrestling Noah, or just have a tour in Japan, have a run in Japan, build this mystique about you, build up this character, build up the vibe of Dijak, and add to that lore, so that, let's say AEW comes knocking, let's say WWE again comes knocking back, your value will be up. And I think that is something that he will likely do. That's something I would love to see him do. As far as booking him and potentially interviewing him, watch out for an email, Dijak. You might be getting one from Real Take Wrestling. But we will see what happens. But, I mean, look, the other thing we kind of have to talk about is the fact that he kind of called out the company. And, look, this goes to show you one thing. The unfortunate truth about WWE and almost any corporation, if we're being honest, including other wrestling companies, including AEW. You're trying to grab that brass ring. You are trying to attain a certain level of excellence in your work. No matter how far you get doing that, there is never a guarantee that you will get to a status of security, a status of, championships, a status of being the guy. That brass ring, symbolism is such a faulty premise that is made by people who are in charge of you in order to delude you into thinking, well, if you do all these right things, you are guaranteed this spot. And if you don't get that spot, well, you did something wrong along the way. I think this is evidence that it's kind of BS. And if we're being honest, of course, if you are an excellent pro wrestler, if you are an excellent talent, if you're excellent at everything, the likelihood of you being featured, re-signed, etc. is higher. But there is never a guarantee. And to claim that is a guarantee, is lying. Be honest. And I think that frustration is there, because you could argue there's nothing more Dijak could have done. He was given horrible gimmicks. T-Bar. There is no one on this planet who could have made T-Bar work better than Dijak did. The stuff he was doing on Twitter with T-Bar, out of this world hilarious. What he was doing on television was horrible, but Retribution was one of the worst angles WWE's ever ran. Thank God they just all right, it's all ogre now. But whatever. I mean, look, I hope that whatever happens with Dijak, he chooses a path that is best for him, and he chooses a path that hopefully leads to some awesome matches. And we know he's capable. Shout out to him. Hopefully we see good stuff down the road. As we move on now to our next topic, let's talk about a potential potential, I should say, return in AEW. Let's talk about the good doctor, Britt Baker, DMD, who could be returning soon. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, may be making her AEW return. The former AEW Women's World Champion was brought up on this week's Forbidden Door media call. Tony Khan was asked about her status. Here is what he had to say. I'm excited about Britt Baker being close to ready for a return to AEW. She's been out with an injury and was not cleared to wrestle. I do expect that sometime soon she could return. I would absolutely love that. I'm very excited about getting all of our top stars back. And I think everyone else who watches AEW and keeps up with the product is also very excited. I mean, we'll get to Britt Baker, obviously, and the impact and what could potentially happen over the next few days, but one of the things that I brought up ad nauseum is the fact that AEW has been missing several key stars. Hangman Page, Kenny Omega, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, just to name a few. And when you have all these people out, your television ratings, as we've seen, will take a dip because you are without your biggest stars. TV was inconsistent, let's be honest, for a little bit there. And, you know, at the end of the day, you need those trusted faces that people have been drawn to for years, that people want to see on television, that they know. Like, these are big-time North American television stars. Regardless of what you may personally think, it is the truth. When they had their roster together, AEW was doing amazing in the ratings. They're still doing good, fine even, but they were doing way better than they were now. And I think part of that is like the star power. It is limited, and it has been drained over the last several months. That's why I think, you know, Hangman Page potentially. He's been, I mean, look, the Bucks said that the wild card is going to be a former world champion. It's probably Hangman Page, but Hangman Page is probably going to be returning. I think that's what Tony was alluding to when he said that he's looking forward to getting all the top stars back. We know that Kenny Omega, after he hopefully recovers, who knows how long that could take, but he wants to return. Still no real word on Jamie Hayter and where she is in her recovery. Hopefully she's coming back sometime soon as well. But Baker is the one that Tony brought up. Britt Baker is the one that Tony, you know, was pretty clear, like, she's going to be ready soon. I think one thing is true about Tony Khan. He is very careful about the way he says things and about the manner in which he brings up returns and injury statuses and things like that. If he wants us to kind of, you know, be ready for a return, he'll do something like this. He'll be like, yeah, I'm looking forward. She's going to return soon. Like, he will let us know. He'll tease it. But, you know, like, otherwise, he's very quick to be like, you know, I would love to see that soon, but, you know, we'll see. Still no word, whatever. But here he addressed, like, she is close to getting cleared. I think there's a possibility that Forbidden Door, we usually get a big moment at every AEW pay-per-view. We always get great matches, obviously, but you're looking for that big moment, that big return, that additional, like, statement, like MJF returned at Double or Nothing, and then Forbidden Door, have Britt Baker return, injection into that women's division even more so. Then you got the potential for Britt Baker versus Mercedes Moné, which is a big money match. You have the potential for Britt Baker versus Toni Storm, which is a big money match. You have the potential for Britt Baker to come back into a women's division that is night and day from where she left it and try to assert her dominance. I think there's some fantastic storytelling elements that could be told there. Personally, I think we could get it at Forbidden Door. This is not a report. I don't report. I just talk about news, and I talk about what I think. And I think, speculating, Britt Baker we could see Britt Baker at Forbidden Door. That would be a cool moment in my view. I'm going to be there, by the way, which is why I'm not in the regular studio. So if you're going to be at Forbidden Door, be sure to come on over. Hit me up on the X or hit up the Real Take Wrestling account on X. Let me know. Come say hi, whatever. We'll meet up, talk about wrestling for a little bit, grab some chicken tenders, and have a good time watching Forbidden Door. Also, if you're going to be in Manhattan for AEW, sorry, WWE SmackDown. I'm thinking about going to that show. So SmackDown, MSG, probably won't miss it. I'll probably be there. But let me know in the comments section, guys, if you're going to be there. Hit me up. But more importantly than that, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Until next time, be happy, be healthy, and as always, keep it real.